I can put 2 and 2 together and come up with 5. 5 is close enough to the real answer, so you might as well just tell me. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, welcome. I'm Mallory, and welcome to Storytime Saturdays. Storytime Saturdays is a series where on Saturdays I'll be sitting down with you, telling you a steaming hot story. Do you like hot gossip? Do you like chit chat? Do you like to get the tea? If you do and you like makeup, I highly suggest that you subscribe, you know, if you want. But yeah, all stories are all things that have happened to me in my life, and yeah, I'm just gonna be telling you guys. Even the one today, this is such an old story, but girl, it's tea. So again, if you're interested in that type of thing, go ahead and join us, subscribe. You're gonna love it here. If you're ever interested in what products I'm using, I will link them down in the description box below. Before we start, I feel like I need to give a brief disclaimer. So yeah, so all names and identifying details of the story have been changed. With that being said, if you feel like you or someone you know is a character in the story, the shoe fits, don't wear it. But if you do decide to put the shoe on, let us know in the comment section below so we can all read it, because we would all be here for that tea. This is my side of the story. This is from my point of view, and while I know that there are 3 sides to every story, this one is mine, and I'm saying what I'm saying respectfully.
I said what I said.
That's it. That's the disclaimer. Enough rambling. Do you guys got your teacups ready? You got your tea or coffee? Because it's about to run it over. This story is juicy. Let's get ready for tea time. So clearly we need a backstory for this story, right? So let me tell you the tale of 4 friends. Bum, bum, bum. Oh my gosh, my skin is still peeling from that chemical peel. Yuck. Okay, so we're going to start with how we met. So this was back in junior high. I met Yaz and Brianna. Now again, names have been changed, girl. So Yaz and Brianna, I knew them in junior high. Well, I met them in junior high. We weren't as close as we were in high school. Me, Yaz, and Brianna, we all did cheerleading together. I was a cheerleader freshman year, sophomore year, and junior year. And they joined the team sophomore year. So it was me, Yaz, and Brianna, and the 4th member of our group was Kendra. Kendra and me were like this. And then Yaz and Brianna were like this. But like, we were friends. We were all friends. But like, you know, there's somebody that you're closer with in group. And when I tell y'all, we were like the high school city girls. We were out in the streets. We were being bad. Me and Kendra were laughing about this the other day because she and I are still friends. We're like, girl, what were we doing? We were really out in these streets like grown people, like girls. Just tacky, just bad. Anyways, we went everywhere together, the 4 of us. And I got a car summer between sophomore and junior year. I can't remember which year it was that Yaz and I were talking to the same guy, but I mean, obviously the story is just doomed from the start, because girl code, you don't do that. You don't talk to the same guy. We'll get there. Yeah, so we went everywhere, and I got my car, and then we were really like in the streets. We were going everywhere. But like before, me and Kendra were closer, so we were like, it was normally you see her, you see me type thing, and then vice versa with them. They were a lot closer, but we all hung out together. So there was always a clear divide between the friends, because even whenever, you know, you would hang out with somebody from the other pair, it was still just kind of different, because it was like, you know, me and Kendra, we didn't really talk shit about each other. We were like, you talk about my friend, I'm gonna tell her, period. I'm gonna tell her what you said, I'm gonna tell her what you did, I'm gonna tell her what you told me. There are no secrets between us, we telling. But with the other 2, it kind of seemed like they weren't really like that, which is fine if that's their dynamic. But it was just kind of like there was one time I remember I was driving. Obviously, Kendra was always in the front seat, and if she wasn't, girl, you would be mad, big mad, if you didn't get to sit in the front seat. She was kind of funny. Like, think about it now, it's funny as hell. But yeah, she'd be in the front, and then I remember Yaz was in the back seat one time, and she had asked us like, "Hey, have you heard about Brianna?" And we were like, "What? She got in trouble? Like what? Like what?" She was like, "Oh no, she's gay, or she's bisexual." We were like, "What? Girl, like that's supposed to be your bestie. Why are you telling us her business?" And then there were other times where, you know, they just did some like kind of questionable Like, are we actually friends type of shit. Kendra, she liked to fight. And she was saying that whenever she got into a fight with one girl, Yaz was like cheering on the other girl, like the op. I think that's what the cool people say. She was cheering for the op. Yeah, and so Kendra was like, I was like, yeah, no, I don't like that. And then there was another time, and I just remembered this. There was another time that Yaz and Brianna, they had gotten jumped or gotten into a fight with somebody at school. And they were mad at us because well, for one, I remember we did laugh. We did laugh about it. But I wasn't nowhere near it. This was in the middle of high school. I was coming down a separate hallway and they had gotten jumped. I came in after the fight. It was like a lot of commotion. I'm like, what is going on? What happened? And they're like, oh yeah, they got jumped. And then they were big mad at me. And I'm like, girl, I wasn't even around. And even if I was, I mean, like, what y'all want me to do? I was wearing heels like all the time in high school. What do you actually think I'm going to do? Nothing, not a thing. Like I mentioned before, there was a clear divide. Like we were friends, but you know how you got those friends that you kind of like, would I do a crime with you? Probably not. But would I go down the street with you to the party? Yeah, probably. We can go to the function, but am I gonna break the law with you? No, I don't trust you. You snitch. And I don't remember. I think there was another time, like just giving you guys the dynamic. There was another time that we had all gone somewhere and I was driving and I don't remember who it was that I had to take home super early, but I was just like, oh, I gotta go home so early. I gotta take it home now. We had tried to go to Six Flags, and around Halloween, there is Fright Fest that goes on, and there's always, like, I think we were going there for the boys because we were fast. But then we couldn't get in, so they were trying to go do something else, but I had to drop somebody off. And then I was talking shit about the fact that I had to take them all home early. I was like, wow, y'all got these early ass curfews. And Brianna had sent a text to me talking shit about me, but I think she meant to send it to Yas. I don't remember what the text said. Something like, Malari act like she can stay out all night. She has curfew too. And I was just like, okay, girl, like you can get the fuck out too, because wherever we were, it wasn't her house. But I was like, well, you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and let you out. Or maybe it was her house, but she was trying to go somewhere else. I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and let you out. You can go ahead and get out. Get out of the car. So yeah, after that, I think we still hung out with them after that, but we just were like, they're all right, but we don't really fuck with them like that. And I think this is around the same time that me and Yas we had ended up talking to the same guy. So the guy in the story, his name is Damien. Damien, he was a player, I mean, as you can tell. So he was talking to a lot of people, and at some point, she and I had ended up talking to him at the same time. She was really into him. I remember we were still doing cheerleading whenever I found out that she was talking to him too, and I was just kind of like, oh, okay, girl, that's all you. That's all you, sis. You ain't gotta worry about me. Anyway, fast forward. As mentioned, this story is doomed from the start. Absolutely doomed. How do we end up talking to the same guy? And we already, like, we kind of cool on each other right now. How does that happen? So there was an incident where me and Yaz, we weren't really talking anymore as much. And then me and Brianna weren't really talking as much. I mean, just by default, we weren't talking as much either. And there was this instance where Damien, he had actually had a girlfriend. So this girlfriend, I don't remember how the conversation came to be. I'm just going to assume that I was the messy one in the situation. I was messy. I don't know why I was talking to this girl, but she had some sort of way, Yaz and Damien doing whatever they was doing sexually came into question. And I told her basically like, yeah, they be doing stuff, and you know, he's probably not telling you the truth. So naturally the girl, she was upset. This whole situation, I don't know if you guys saw the poll where I asked you guys what story you guys want next, but this is also another reason why I'm just kind of done telling people that their man is cheating, because they don't want to hear that shit. People are not ready for the truth. Yeah, so she went to him. I don't know what he told her. Definitely lied. And then I was a victim of a three-way call. If you're kind of young, you don't know what a three-way call is. That's when people be messy as fuck, and somebody calls you with another person on three-way, but that person like puts their phone on mute so they can hear everything you're saying. And so I don't remember how the conversation went. I'm assuming it was being messy, and everybody was mad. Big mad at Malari. Everybody was mad. But did I lie? No. I was telling you the truth, girl. I was telling you the truth, sis. But while I was telling her the truth, I really don't know. Like, this whole situation, I was like, what was I doing? Like, why would I tell her? Growth. It's a real thing. Oh, and there was another situation that they did that really irked me, because one thing I don't play about is my money and my sleep. And they play with both of them one day. like really playing with both of them, because I'm a hairstylist and I've been doing hair for a minute, and I would always glue in my friends' tracks or whatever, but I would ask them to pay me something, like pay me something, because me and Kendra, we would do each other's hair, we would swap. I would never just be like, oh, do my hair and do nothing for, like, be for real. People who would just like take and take and take, those people stress me out. But I told them like, hey, I can do your hair, but you gotta pay me this much, and you know, I need you to be here by this time because I gotta go to work and I need to take a nap. Yes, girl, I was trying to take a nap time. But they didn't come at that time, so I was like, all right, well, I ain't coming, so I'm just gonna take a nap. And they had called me, and I was like, no, how y'all is planning on getting her hair done because she don't have no money. Brandon was like, well, I don't have no money either. And I said, oh, then one of y'all need to come. I was like, oh, you know, see y'all at school because I'm about to go to sleep, but I'm gonna go to work. But they show up at my house anyway. Y'all at my house, and I saw your ride drive away. So I did their hair, but I was big mad about it. I'm like, damn these bitches. So fast forward. So all of that, told you all of that story to tell you, to give you the dynamic and to tell you like why we kind of fell out initially. So fast forward to my senior year, and Damien hits me up out of nowhere. He writes me a message on like, I want to say it was like Facebook. It was MySpace. I don't know, y'all. I'm getting old. He hits me up and he was like, oh, I keep forgetting that we used to talk. And I'm thinking like, did we? Were we talking? It was just such a lame thing to say. I feel like I'm saucy today, so I'm thinking like a good red lip would be nice. Okay, so yeah, fast forward. Damien hits me up. He's like, oh, I forgot we even talked. You know, we should hang out, blah blah blah. So we talked for a bit, and you know, I gave him my number so we could talk off of whatever we were talking on. I can't remember, Facebook or MySpace. So we're like talking, and then we start hanging out, and then we dated on and off for like years, which at this point I know I was breaking the girl code too, because Damien and Yaz, they had a situation, but we fell out. So you know, girl code, null and void. I don't know, I'm not going to try to justify it at all. It was doomed from the start is what I'm saying. So I say about three years we were on and off, and it was so toxic that it was almost like we didn't know when we were on and when we were off. Wow, what a mess that is. But there were plenty of times that I felt like it should, and not even that, but I feel like what's coming next definitely should not have happened, whether we were on or off. Just straight up disrespectful. So first of all, I feel like my grandfather would be ashamed of me if he knew I put up with a broke boy for so long. He literally had no car, rarely had a job. At one point, his phone was on my phone plan, but he also didn't pay the bill, so I was stuck with that bill. So bad to where I had to cancel the phone service plan because my phone bill was so high. And there was even one time whenever I found out that he was like doing stuff with some other people. Hey, like, definitely this guy fucking sucks. I need to get him off my phone plan immediately. So I called, tried to figure out how to do it, and they were like, oh yeah, all he needs to do is call and say that he wants to put the phone in his name. So I was like, oh my gosh, that just seems so easy, you know, surely he can do that. And so I tell him, and I'm like, hey, can you just do this please? Like, I'm done with this. And then he tried to make me feel bad, which worked. He's like a master of manipulation. I know what you guys are thinking, like, wow, you're a dummy. Yeah, I know, sis. I know. Just watch yourself. Make sure you don't end up in a situation like this. Any kind of way you could think about a toxic relationship, this was it. It was very toxic, low-key verbally abusive. It was just not fun. But every time I would try to leave, he would like not let me leave. And he'd make me feel bad, or like me some sob story for why I should stay, you know, all the tricks that people do. Okay, so now what you guys came here for. You're like, well, which friend was it? Which friend did he do it with? Was it Yaz? Surprisingly, no, it wasn't Yaz. It was Brianna. Remember whenever I told you that Yaz told us that Brianna was bisexual? So that was true. She did have some girlfriends, but then at one point she was just more so just leaning straight into just dating women. There was one time that Damien and Brianna, they came to my job together, like they were hanging out. But again, Brianna has a girlfriend now, so they're just cool. They're just hanging out. He's always like, oh, she acts like a guy. She's just, you know, we just hang out. We all hang out together. Blah blah blah. Things that guys say when they lying. But I was just like, okay, like, you know, checks out. She's pretty gay. I know her girlfriend. Like, okay, cool. But when I came up there, I was just like, oh, like, hey, like, You know, she and I had talked. It was really no bad blood between she and I. Now, me and Yaz, it kind of seemed like there was more animosity there, but between me and Brianna, it was just like just whatever. She's kind of more laid back, and so am I. So I just kind of feel like we both just like, yeah, whatever, bygones. I did start to get suspicious about Damien and Brianna, though, what they were doing whenever they were hanging out, because he, like I mentioned before, he's kind of a hoe, like, for lack of a better words, he's kind of a hoe, and I feel like he could probably talk anybody into anything. I don't know why he's not a salesman. I don't understand why he's like, why were you such a broke boy? You should have had many jobs. There was one time, because I had my own apartment maybe 10 minutes away from my job, and there was one day that Damien was staying over there, and he was like, oh, Brianna's gonna come over here, we're gonna smoke, or what. I don't know what they was doing, what the plan was. I have no idea. I was like, oh, okay, like, no big deal, because she had came over before while he was staying there, and it was fine, like, we all hung out, nothing suspicious going on. But I did get a weird gut feeling, like, you should probably go home. It's just a little suspicious, right? But by the time he had told me that she was getting over there, to the time I got there, which only took me like 15 minutes max, she was already gone. But whenever I came in the house, he was like vacuuming or something, and I was walking through my apartment, and it just fell off. The look in my room kind of fell off, and I was like, this is so, which I was doing. Guys, my room was like this. He was like, oh, I was, forget what he told me, doing what people do in private or something, but by himself. And I was like, yeah, right. Sure, that's what you're doing. Listen, my whole thing is, I can put 2 and 2 together and come up with 5, but my intuition is not lying. 5 is close enough to the real answer, so you might as well just tell me. But shortly after that, he had told me something about her. Like, I don't remember what we were talking about, but he mentioned her, and I said, okay, well, quick question. I'm glad you mentioned it. Quick question. Do y'all be messing around? And he was like, no, like, why would you ask me that? And I was like, what are y'all doing then? Like, what's up with this? Because it kind of seems like more than just homeboy, homegirl type thing. She's gay. Like, kind of seems like more than that. But he said, no, that was it. So I was just like, okay. So from that point until the point where I found out that she was pregnant, it was like a good amount of time had gone by, so naturally a good amount of drama had happened between us, things going back and forth. So in between the times whenever he's in and out of my life, I was dating other people. So there was one guy that I actually really started to like, and so I just started letting that situation go. And I was like, okay, I'm done with this, really, so I'm just gonna move on with my life. Like, I don't have time to keep waiting for him to decide what he's gonna do. I kind of feel like men who are toxic, like, they have like a signal that goes off, like a ring-a-ding-ding, she's moving on, and it's like, oh, sir, like, I'm busy, leave me alone. There was also a time where this new guy was in my apartment, and he decided to pop up on me, which was so random, because it's like, why are you here, for one? Why are you trying to pop up on me? And you're scaring me. Like, he punched a hole in my wall and everything. I can tell you guys that story next if you want, but it was just insane. So he knew that I was talking to this other guy, but he tried to make me feel bad for it, and so I kind of did for a bit, but I didn't stop talking to him. I was like, no, like, this is fine. Shortly after that, I see pictures of Brianna online on Facebook. She was pregnant as hell, like it wasn't like a new belly, it was like she'd been pregnant for a minute. And so I was looking at it, and I was like, so from the time that I came home to my apartment, and I thought that I just felt weird, like that timing would have added up to how far along she was. And I was just kind of like, huh, because again, my intuition is pinging, and what I've come to find out is that my intuition does not lie, and I be listening, girl. So I called him and I asked him, I said, oh, hey, like, did you know she was pregnant? And he was like, yeah. And I said, oh, well, who's she pregnant by? And he was like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, okay, are you sure about that? Are you sure? A few weeks go by, I was at the new guy's apartment, and I get a call from Kendra, or a text. I can't remember. Girl, which one was it? Was it a call or a text? I don't remember. But I remember that she said, have you talked to Yas? And I said, no, I have not. And she was like, oh, well, she just told me that Brianna is pregnant by Damien. And I said, okay. Because I had already thought it. I already felt it in my gut. I already thought it. I was just kind of like, wow, I hate whenever I know something to be true and I ask somebody and they lie. And it's like something that I would have found out later. Like, what you lying for? God, what are you lying for? People just be lying and that'd be frustrating me. It's like, you could have just told me the truth. No, I wouldn't have been happy, but you could have just said the truth. You don't need to lie. Like, if you're going to be in the streets then. You know what you're doing out there. But it's also like, what the fuck? So, because I had talked to Yaz in between time too. So after I get off the phone with Kendra, how do I call? Not Yaz. That's not what I meant. I had talked to Brianna in between then, and she never mentioned anything. She didn't even ask me for something, like asked me to bring her something, and I did, or I went to go get something from her. I don't remember which way it went, but she didn't say anything. Like, I didn't know this, that she was pregnant, and she didn't say anything. And I'm just like, girl, what the fuck? So after I got off the phone with Kendra, she's like, oh yeah, here's the tea. She's pregnant. Like, who do you think it is? Yuck. So when we get off the phone, I'm like, oh hell no. So even though I moved on, it's still a frustrating situation to be in. Because it's like both of them have been lying to me for a while. And just the fact that it seemed like the math was adding up to them sleeping together in my apartment around that time whenever she was getting pregnant. And not to mention that he was like obviously having unprotected sex with her. That's just so nasty. Don't trust the people. Don't do it. Don't trust them. It's like, oh yeah, she don't answer. I mean, not yes. Call Brianna, she don't answer. So I was like, okay, cool. She don't answer. I did text her. She didn't answer the text either. So I decided, okay, you know what, whatever. So I called and texted her. She didn't answer. I just say, you know what, whatever. I know what I know. It's fine. It's fine. It's not fine, but it's okay. I'm gonna make it anyway. Shortly after that, I called Amy and I'm like, hey, why am I hearing that Brianna is pregnant with your baby? And he was like, I don't know why they be saying that. Probably because we always hanging out together. And I said, like, that's the best you could come up with on the fly. Like, you should have known this conversation was gonna come, and that's the best that you could come up with. Somebody has had the birds and the bees conversation with me. I know that you can't get pregnant from hanging out. Girl, hey, obviously I'm just like, you know what? I'm not gonna go back and forth with an idiot. Like, I'm not gonna go back and forth with you. I know what I know. It is what it is. It's whatever. So 2 weeks go by. Literally 2 weeks. And then out of nowhere, I get a call from Brianna. And she said, hey, what's up, you called? I said, yeah, I did 2 weeks ago. And she was like, oh. And I said, so are you pregnant with Damien's baby? And she was like, you're not gonna believe it. I said, I don't want no drama. Girl, I was like, you know, there is not gonna be any drama, but like, what the fuck? I literally didn't even have the words. So I tried to call you 2 weeks ago. You've been in my house. You've been hanging around me. Like, why would you be doing all that if you're sleeping with him? That's insane to me. Like, why would you be doing all that? I don't remember what exactly the conversation entailed because I was so pissed. But I do remember her saying, like, no, I don't want no drama. She was like, oh, you cold? Like, girl, 2 weeks ago. Like, no, girl, no answer is an answer. I already knew. I was just waiting on you to come clean. So after I got off the phone with her, I go ahead and call Damien back. And I was like, hey, just talked to Brianna. And she confirmed what I knew to be true, that is your baby. And I kind of feel like you probably just shouldn't even call me anymore. Don't want to talk to you ever again. Even if you thought there was a chance later on in life, there definitely isn't one now. No, thank you. Really trying to like close the chapter for good. Because even though he and I weren't really seeing each other at this time because I kind of felt what I knew to be true. And I was just kind of like, I'm good on all that. But just so that he knew for sure that I'm like done. Not even in a year or two, not even if like the world caught on fire and you're the only one left. Like, no, ever, never again. Like, game over, loser. So I had a conversation with him and he was like, we can talk whenever you calm down or whatever the fuck he said. Doesn't matter. But I was just like, you know, said what I had to say, and I was just like, I'm cool on that. I'm done with that. So he calls me later on that day because I forgot to mention that whenever she had called me, I was actually in the car with the new guy that I was dating. We were coming back from somewhere. I don't even remember. But yeah, he knew that I was pissed, but he was just kind of like letting me make it. He was like, yeah, I mean, that shit kind of fucked up. So he just kind of let me deal with it, you know. So later on, the new guy I was dating, he came to pick me up from work. We met up to go to the movies or something. And Damien calls me like on my way out, and I will never forget this conversation because I thought it was so funny. Because if you've ever seen South Park, there's one part where Cartman, and I thought I'm making jokes about HIV, but that joke was kind of funny. Somebody asked Cartman something, and he was like, "Are you positive?" He's like, "Yes, I'm HIV positive."
Just sure, we're HIV positive.
Which is what I thought about in this moment, but it was obviously like not that he deserved me to not joke in that situation, but it just didn't feel right doing it. But he calls me. He's like, "Oh, hey, you wanna go somewhere? You wanna do this? You wanna do that?" Like straight up acting like we didn't even have the conversation that we had earlier that day, which is pretty much like the toxic things that I would fall back into. But this time I was like, so hell no, that I just didn't even listen. I was like, no. I was like, I think you're confused about where we stand. I just straight up told you this will never ever happen again. Even if me and the guy that I'm dealing with, even if we stop dating, there's never going to be another us. Like this has never happened again. And he was like, well, if you're saying that, I'm gonna start talking to other people. And in my head, I'm like, you already been doing that. What are we talking about? You're already doing that. Do what you need to do. And he says, are you sure? I said, yes. He was like, Malari, are you positive? And I was like, see where the joke would have came in? You see, you thought about it too. Yes, I'm HIV positive. But no, I didn't say that. Yeah, I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm sure I'm positive. The most sure I've been in a while. And he was like, well, are you sure? I was like, yeah, I mean, yeah. Yep, pretty sure. Pretty sure, my guy. This is over with. So he hangs up, he's mad. I go off, go to the movies. And I mean, obviously I'm upset. And it's like, not because, it's kind of like you have to mourn the relationship. And I forgot to mention this part before I found out, before she called me, the night before Damien called me like upset, and he was like, you know, I'm really trying, like I really want you to like stop talking to the other guy. I want to try to figure things out with you, blah blah blah. And just saying a lot of stuff that like you would want to hear from somebody that you've been dealing with for so long. But I feel like it was already so far gone that I was just kind of like, you know, like confused for sure, but I was definitely more like, I'm not gonna stop talking to him because he treats me well while you treat me like shit. Like I already know that I need to be out of this situation. But after that conversation, he just had me feeling like really confused. So I prayed hard about it that night. And I'm not even gonna say like I'm super spiritual or anything like that, but I did ask God for a sign. I said one that I cannot ignore. We ain't ignoring no babies. Absolutely not. So I asked for a sign that I could not ignore, and I asked for whatever that's been done in the dark be brought to light. So the next day is the day that I get the call from Brianna where she confirms that it's the baby's fault. He is the daddy. It's not Mari. It's not rocket science. He is the daddy. The paternity test determined that he is the dad. It's in age. So yeah, we had that conversation, and then the day after asking me if I was positive, he called me like literally sounded like he was crying and was like, oh yeah, I didn't do the things that a man should have done, and I didn't do this and I didn't do that, and blah blah blah. And I was just like, yeah, no, you didn't. So for reasons I can't really talk about, I did have to kind of keep in touch with him for a while after that. And I mean, he just could not stand me after that. He was just so mad. But I was like, you know, what's weird about people who do people dirty is like they always want to play the victim and act upset. And it's like, well, who should really be hurt here? Because like you were sleeping with one of my friends while coming over here and staying at my apartment and acting like everything was all good with us, and also bringing her to my apartment. I just feel like somebody in the situation owes me a little bit of loyalty. Somebody, because honestly in real life I would not have even addressed her if I didn't know her, because I don't believe in that. I feel like if your man is doing something shady like that, you should never address the woman, because 9 times out of 10 they're being lied to as well. 9 times out of 10. 10 times out of 10, they're being lied to as well. I think I am going to do a red lip today. I just feel like that would be cute. So yeah, he was big mad at me for like calling it. This will never ever happen again. Never. Dream about me, but this will never happen again in real life. Not long after that, I did. Well, that's a lie. So like I was about to say, not long after that, I talked to her. No, I didn't. So I talked to her actually a few years ago. She reached out and she wanted to talk. So when we talked, she was basically saying like she didn't know exactly what our relationship was, which I guess I understand that, but still, like, you knew it was something. So that's still a little sketch. Like, will she and I ever be friends again? No, absolutely no. And whenever I met up with her and we were talking about that, she was basically in the same situation with another guy. Like, she was pregnant with somebody else's baby, and that guy had like a girlfriend, or he had like a situationship going on too. And I'm just like, you know, this is just like a character trait for you. Like, you don't really care what other people have going on in their lives, because again, no, it's not 100% her fault. It is, I'm not confused about that. It is him, but still, like, I don't know. Because in the situation with us, like, why was she in my house, like, potentially doing stuff with him? Or like, why was she in my house knowing that he and I were like on and off, but y'all were doing stuff? And I don't know, it just feels like super shady. But yeah, we talked about it. I mean, I guess it's hashed out. I don't, like I mentioned before, this is an old story. I've healed from it. Definitely very traumatic, and also it taught me how to, girl, trust your gut, because your gut don't be lying. It really don't. It's there for a reason. It's like you should just believe yourself, because why would you lie to you? Literally every time I've had like a hunch or like a feeling, or my intuition was like pinging, girl, I knew something was up, and it was up. It was up. It was there. I knew it was there. It's pretty much the story. So I got one of my friends pregnant. It kind of seems like they slept together in my house too, probably. Who knows? Decisions were made. Bad choices were made. Things were not thought through. Or maybe they did think them through and they just said, fuck it. Who knows? But yeah, that's the end of the story time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Yeah, let me know in the comment section below if anything crazy this has ever happened to you, because I know I'm not alone. I know I can't be alone, girl. I can't be, because girl, men are for the streets. Men just really do be out here doing like whatever they want. They're just straight up for the streets. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. If you're not already subscribed, make sure that you subscribe, like this video. Again, let me know in the comment section below. Girl, let me know what has happened to you in the comment section below. I would love to connect with you guys there. And I put out polls during the week to see which story time you guys want next. If you guys think of something within this story that you want to hear about next, also leave it down in the comment section below and we'll talk about it. If it's enough of a story, I'll make another story time for you. But yeah, you guys will see my face in the next one.